everyone, and welcome to a brand new edition of AHSAA TV Weekly, brought to you by AmFirst. I'm Susan Carruthers, and here's what we've got coming up for you on this week's program. We'll catch up with AHSAA Director of Football Jeff Seegers to discuss the winding down of the regular season and the upcoming state football playoffs. We'll meet Auburn High School boys cross-country coach Anthony Bennett and Tigers sensational runner Maxwell Harden to talk about cross-country and the upcoming section and state meets. We'll check in with Bob Jones High School volleyball coach Jenny Jarrett and standout player Kennedy Vaughn and talk about Vaughn's accomplishments and Bob Jones' prospects in the area tournaments when they get underway. And as always, we'll close this week's show with AHSAA Coordinator of Social Media David Holtzford's video highlights from last week's high school football and volleyball action. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Retirement planning, investment planning, education planning, ad valorem. Blah, 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 blah. Financial planners love to show their version of a perfect retirement, but what about your perfect retirement? At AmFirst Financial, we'll get to know you first, so we can make a plan for the person you'll be years from now, and future you will be glad we planned ahead. So call AmFirst Financial today. You'll thank you later.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Alabama, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
All right, we are pleased to welcome to the program now Auburn High School boys cross-country coach Anthony Benitez and then runner Maxwell Harden. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Well, you guys have already had an outstanding season. I know you will continue to. So, Coach, tell us a little bit about kind of what's happened so far with your team this season and then where you see it going from here.
Well, we came into the season with pretty high expectations. I had a couple of my best runners. They're not running with us right now for just different reasons. I'm not going to get into it, but they were, a couple of my better kids. So we've kind of, next man up philosophy type of deal. And it's been a rough season, a lot of peaks and valleys this year, but we've raced pretty well the last couple weekends. And so our trajectory's definitely headed in the right direction. I feel like we're making some good strides here toward the end of the season. And I'm just hoping for a good outcome at the state meet in a few weeks.
Well, and I know you have an outstanding runner there sitting beside you, Maxwell Harden. Maxwell, you didn't run in the state meet last year. Tell us a little bit about that and then how the beginning of the season has started off for you.
So I had to cut my season really short last year in the beginning of October because I finished one of my races last year, and I took a step and it just hurt really bad. Then went to the doctor, got an MRI and stuff. Turns out I had a couple of stress fractures in my foot. So it just wasn't healed by the time state came around. So I just sat that one out and waited for the long run. Be able to come back and race healthy this year instead of try to push something that wouldn't have been smart last year.
Well, and I'm sure overcoming that challenge is really one thing that motivates you. What are some other things that motivate you when you run?
I really just try to, sometimes it's hard to have a team mentality, but really just being able to push my teammates and help them work hard and be the best that they can helps push me as well.
And Coach, cross country has really grown over the last several years. Tell us a little bit about your background in the sport and then why you think it's seen so much growth lately.
I competed obviously through high school, and I competed at the Division I level in college as well, cross country and track and field. Coached for 3 years at the Division I level in college, so I just kind of always had a love for the sport, and obviously doing it at the high school level, it's a little different than college, but the desire that these kids have is the same, and watching them improve is definitely probably the biggest benefit of coaching and just watching them grow as people and as athletes. But coming to Alabama, I'm from the Midwest, so cross country is huge, and track and distance running in general. So coming to Alabama, just didn't really know what to expect, and it's definitely exceeded my expectations, especially in these past few years. We've seen some really, really outstanding performers at the individual level that have gone on, and they're doing great things in college. And we've seen a lot of success here at this high school, sending kids to Division I programs. So there's definitely a passion for it, and it's definitely growing in terms of interest. And the times that I see kids run in high school here in Alabama continue to get better and better every year. So it's not just a couple kids that are doing outstanding things. It's there are a lot of kids out there that are running really well, really solid times. So that's been kind of neat to see. So again, that passion that I saw as I grew up in the Midwest, and now I see it here down in the state of Alabama. It's a neat thing to see.
Well, I understand you've got sections coming up very soon, and we wish you all the best there, and then looking forward to state. We thank you for joining us, Coach Benitez and Maxwell. Thank you.
Thank you
for having us. Thank you.
Welcome to the program now, Bob Jones High School volleyball coach Jenny Jarrett and player Kennedy Vaughn. Welcome, ladies.
Hello, thank you.
Well, Coach, I'll ask you first. You obviously have an outstanding team this year. You are currently 44-6. So tell us a little bit just about this team and just where you see it going the rest of the season.
Well, this group has been a really fun group. This is my first year at Bob Jones, but when I got there, it's a young group. We only have 2 seniors, and they just really bought in and became really close-knit family. And they have a whole lot of fun together, and we have a whole lot of fun on the court. So that's led to our success, is just how close they are.
Well, and Coach, tell me a little bit about your background in volleyball.
I've been coaching for a long, long time. I started at a small private school, Athens Bible School, over 20 years ago. And then I coached at Bob Jones as an assistant coach under April Marsh and went with her to Athens High School. And this is my first head coaching job in volleyball.
Well, and I know you've got an outstanding player there sitting beside you. And I know this because I've called Kennedy's name several times in our highlight reel. So Kennedy Vaughn, welcome to the program. Tell us a little bit about what motivates you to play volleyball.
I don't know, just like being with the team and stuff. Like I really like playing with people and feeding off of each other's energy and stuff. And I really want to play in college. I'm also working towards goals to play. And yeah, that's pretty much.
Well, Coach, what do you think motivates this team and maybe specifically Kennedy?
I think she hit it on the head. We have really great chemistry and energy, and they just sort of feed off each other. Kennedy's been a huge part of our success. She definitely leads the team in kills, but we have other girls that help provide some of our offense too. And so they all get excited for each other, and there's not just one standout player, although we do have some excellent players, Kennedy being one of them.
Well, Coach Jarrett, volleyball is one of the fastest growing sports in the state. What do you attribute that growth to?
I just think it's a really fun sport. I think when people don't know that much about it, and then when they get involved with it, it's more fast-paced than they realize. Somebody's scoring on every play. And I just think that the energy that the girls provide make the sport really entertaining and interesting to other people.
Well, I understand that the area tournaments start this week. How do you feel like your team will do and then going forward into the state tournament?
Well, I don't want to jinx us. I always get nervous talking about how we're going to play, but I think if the girls do like they've been doing so far, that we should be successful, and we hope we have a really good day tomorrow and win those 2 games, and then we'll get ready for the regional tournament.
Well, Coach Jarrett and Kennedy, we thank you both so much for being with us today, and we wish you all the best of luck this week and as you go forward in the tournament. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back after this on AHSAA TV Weekly.
Retirement planning, investment planning, education planning, ad valorem, blah, 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 blah. Financial planners love to show their version of a perfect retirement, but what about your perfect retirement? At AmFirst Financial, we'll get to know you first, so we can make a plan for the person you'll be years from now, and future you will be glad we planned ahead. So call AmFirst Financial today. You'll thank you later.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Alabama, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
We are thrilled to welcome today AHSAA Director of Football, Jeff Seegers. Welcome, Jeff.
It's great to be with y'all today.
Well, it seems like the fall sports season just started, but really we're not that far from winding down the regular football season and heading into the playoffs. So first of all, before we get into the playoffs, tell us a little bit about your transition to AHSAA and into this position.
Yeah, I was a longtime athletic director, teacher, coach at Vestavia. I had a great opportunity last summer to come on with Coach Briggs, and the timing was right, and have moved into this role. It's just working on about 13 months. I miss seeing kids every day, but I get to work with great professionals in this office and the coaches across the state of Alabama.
Well, and as the regular football season winds down here in a few weeks, there will be 208 schools, football teams that make it to the playoffs. And I know one of the first steps in that playoff process is that you have a meeting with all 208 coaches. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's more than just the 208 coaches. Most of them bring principals, ADs. We try to limit it to about 2 apiece. And first, what I want to say is that those teams are moving on to the playoffs, but that doesn't mean they're the only successful coaches and teams this year. What they do for our young people and our young men, everybody is successful. And used to tell people all the time, we don't determine how successful we are this season. For about 5 to 10 years till we see who these young men become. But these teams have the chance to continue playing. This year we've got a great opportunity. AUM right across Taylor Road from us is going to host us. So we're planning on about 400 people coming in that Saturday morning, the 29th of October, I believe, for our first playoff meeting. Be there about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and set brackets and fellowship and see everybody as we begin to move into the second part of our football season.
Well, and then fast forwarding all the way to the Super 7 events, tell us a little bit about where all that will take place and what people need to know who might want to attend.
Yeah, absolutely. So this year we'll be in Auburn, back down at Jordan-Hare, and really we have 3 great facilities. With Auburn and Alabama and Tuscaloosa and Birmingham last year at Protective. And so this year we get to give our young people and our teams and our fans a championship experience in an SEC stadium. We will start with that Wednesday at 3:00, and we'll kick off with our flag football game. Last year, our flag football game had Hewitt versus Miss Station. It probably was the most exciting game out there. If you haven't been to a flag football game yet, you need to go see one, because these young ladies compete, and it's fun to watch them compete. And then that night at 7:00, we will have our 7A game, and then we'll come back in on Thursday and play 3 games on Thursday, and then 3 games on Friday, and finish up Friday night with our 6A contest. It should finish somewhere about 9:00 Friday night. It is, if you're a lover of football and high school athletics, it is a great place to be, and we hope that people from across the state are able to come down, even if your team is not in it, and support these young people and see this great event.
Well, obviously a lot going on and coming up in football. I'm glad you mentioned girls flag football as well, but you are also in charge of wrestling, which is about to start up in a few weeks. So how do you manage all of this?
Well, it's you kind of juggle. You set your time. Hey, I'm going to do football for the first couple hours, and then I'm going to do wrestling for the next couple hours. Luckily, wrestling's easy to me. And so is football. And it's two sports that I love, and I have track also, and I love that sport, and it's really a labor of love, and you just kind of keep them all separate and keep them all moving forward.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. You're obviously a very busy man right now, and you will be going forward. We thank you for all you do at AHSAA and for joining us on today's program.
Thank you for having me. I love high school athletics, and I appreciate what y'all do for us.
Well, it's that time again. Everyone's favorite segment, Holtzford's Highlights. Let's check out the best of the best from this past week's high school sports action from around the state of Alabama. We begin this week's highlights with a key Class 6A Region 5 football battle in Jefferson County, with Gardendale, undefeated in Class 6A Region 5, traveling to Minor. We check in on the action with Rockets quarterback Tyler Nelson, once again having a super night. He's shown here running for nearly 200 yards and scoring 3 touchdowns, making a number of defenders miss as he cruises into the end zone. The Rockets improved to 5-2 overall and 4-0 in Region 5 with a 34-14 win, and Minor falls to 2-2 in the region. We head next to another Jefferson County rivalry battle between McAdory and Hueytown. What was expected to be a down-to-the-wire battle in Class 6A Region 4 was all that and more. Gopher senior quarterback and strong candidate for Alabama Mr. Football this season, Earl Woods, shown here, had another big night, finishing with 170 yards rushing and 101 yards passing, while accounting for 4 touchdowns overall. Hueytown needed that kind of effort and more to escape with a 32-27 win. Woods, who verbally committed to Jacksonville State last week, has led his team to 3 straight wins and a 4-1 record in Region 4. The Yellow Jackets fell to 3-2 in region play. Moving down to nearby Shelby County, we catch up with Calera and Briarwood Christian, locked in a wild triple overtime Class 6A Region 3 battle at Briarwood. We pick up on the action in the 3rd overtime with Eagles place kicker TJ Hernandez lining up to attempt a 27-yard field goal to decide the outcome. He kicks the ball through the uprights to give Calera a 31-28 win in the first meeting between these two schools on the gridiron in 30 years. The Lions won 26-24 in 1993, but Calera took an important region win in 2022 to keep their playoff hopes alive. We remain in Class 6A Region 3 with highlights from a Thursday game last week between Pelham and Benjamin Russell at Alexander City's Sportsplex, Martin Savarese Stadium. With both teams needing a win to heighten their playoff hopes, the Wildcats would start quickly with this touchdown pass from Gabe Benton to Corey Milliner. Pelham roars back, however, with a strong second half as Kamari Hollis scores 2 touchdowns in the 3rd quarter. The Panthers win this one 30-20 to improve to 4-3 on the season and 3-1 in the region. The Wildcats fall to 2-2. Traveling south to Butler County, we pick up on top-ranked Elba taking on the Panthers in Class 1A Region 2. The Tigers, 7-0, trying to remain undefeated, turned to running back sensation Alvin Henderson, who has 30 touchdowns on the season, and he responded with a monster effort while providing this highlight reel. He rushed for 383 yards on 26 carries and scored 4 touchdowns, with 2 of his scores covering 68 and 90 yards, and Elba rolled to a 62-28 win and improved to 5-0 in region play. Check out this last touchdown. The Tigers dip into their bag of trickery and score on this fake field goal. Moving to North Alabama, we pick up Muscle Shoals and Decatur in a key Class 6A Region 7 contest at Shorty Ogle Stadium. We find unbeaten Decatur leading 14-0, but Muscle Shoals is closing fast. The Trojans' Cole Woods throws a quick pass to Bryant Basden, who scores for Muscle Shoals. Now, later in the game, with the score tied 14-14, the Trojans block their 2nd punt of the night. Zaylewin Fuqua scoops up the loose ball and rambles into the end zone for the go-ahead score, and Muscle Shoals goes on to win 42-28 while handing the Red Raiders 6-1, their first loss. Both teams are now 3-1 in region play and trail Hartselle, which is 4-0 in the region and hosts Decatur Friday night. Moving to Class 4A Region 8, we check in once again as Wildcat Junior quarterback Brandon Mush has another big night, accounting for 572 yards and 9 touchdowns as Westminster beats Madison County 70-42 on Thursday night. Brandon had 406 yards passing and 166 yards rushing, fired 5 touchdown passes, and rushed for 4 more scores as he continues to move up the AHSAA career passing and total offense chart. Westminster improved to 5-2 overall and 4-1 in Region 8, with Region co-leader Priceville this week and New Hope October 21st. A win over either team will clinch a playoff berth for the Wildcats. We close with Cherokee County taking on Curry High School in volleyball action. The Warriors win this match 2-0 thanks in big part to middle hitter Neve Giadurgis, landing one of her 11 kills in the match. Teammate Ella Garmany added 6 and Macy Leah added 21 assists for Cherokee County, 28-23, heading into this week's AHSAA area tournament action to kick off the 2022 state playoffs. And as usual, we close this week with WOTM highlights from last week's AHSAA TV Weekly Game of the Week featuring West Alabama Class 3A Region 5 rivals Gordo and Fayette County.
And a big night tonight on senior night at Green Wave Stadium in Gordo as that young man quarterback Brax Garrison led his team to an impressive 35-0 win over rival Fayette County. Coach Gus Smith getting the Gatorade shower and everything tonight. This was some type of game from Gordo's perspective. Coming in, Coach, these two teams looked evenly matched on paper. It didn't play out that way on the field.
Not at all. You know, after that initial drive that Fayette County will get to start the game, not much went right for the Tigers as Gordo is going to control the line of scrimmage. They're going to stop this initial drive once it gets into the red zone and really will never look back after this. I think this is the 4th down play right here. And from there on, this is a pretty good microcosm of the night right there. As this big, strong young man, Brax Garrison, is going to have some kind of night.
He came in with some pretty impressive numbers, and he definitely added to those tonight. He had 3 rushing touchdowns. He had a passing touchdown, and just really his command of the game was what was so impressive. And you know, Fayette County, Coach, they just didn't have an answer for him tonight. Now, this young man, Charles Grant, he was the one bright spot for Fayette County offensively.
Yeah, he really was. And, I mean, he played much bigger than his 150 pounds. Very tough, hard-nosed runner with good speed right here, but just too much Gordo. I tell you, I look at Gordo, great quarterback play, outstanding defense, shut out a team, again, that averages 45 points a game, and speed at lots of positions.
Really the only mistake of the game for Garrison here is he threw the interception, but Max Stevenson goes up with his length and gets it right back, and this was really the key turning point in the first half. It was only 7-0 at this point. Fayette County was driving. Instead, it goes the other way. They get it down to the 1-yard line, and then they get the touchdown.
Yeah, you know, their defense was so impressive in about every way that a defense can be impressive, and then the speed takes over in the second half. Great example right here. Willie Fonville avoids the first tackler and then just shows his heels to the Tiger defense. And another very, very impressive performance.
Fayette County had some bright moments, even in the second half, Coach, but 4th down was their bugaboo tonight. They had several 4th down opportunities to keep drives going when they were still within striking distance, and they just couldn't execute on 4th down tonight. And here, the second interception for Johnson.
Well, when that Green Wave defense was not harassing the running game, they were picking off passes. Just a real dominating defense. Another 4th down stop there, and another, folks that know that's not a replay, that is another yet touchdown run by Garrison. And now he points to the ring finger. You know what they're looking for.
And it's the kind of night it was for Fayette County, unable to just getting the bat bounce there on the kickoff. This young man, Lark, had a really good night running the ball, as well as Gordo really looking like a championship contender the way they played tonight, as they are definitely in control of Region 5 after this one. I want to take you back to halftime when we talked to you briefly. You were up 14-0. We mentioned that you dominated the first half. You said, not yet, guys. Well, you dominated this football game, Coach. You got to admit that now.
I got to admit that now for sure, and that's what I told them at halftime too. It's not over with because, we were up 13-6 versus Bibb, and that game got out of hand, and we were on the wrong side of that. And then with the Winfield game, it was 14-13 us, and ended up being 49-42. So I remind them of those things, and we did a great job at halftime. Their adjustments, they came out and did a couple of different things, and man, I'm so proud of our guys.
Coach, you shut out a team that's been averaging 45 points a game. Just talk to us a little bit about your defense, the game plan, just some stuff about your defense.
Yeah, we knew we had to stop, their running game. We felt like they were going to get in that H-back set and try to run it at us. So, we did a lot of things up front to mix them up and disguise our coverages in the back there. And we got good players, and that always helps. So we just get them lined up right and, let them tackle. And like I said, we got good players, and they played hard tonight.
Coach, the young man we're showing on the screen right now, your quarterback. What a night for Brax Garrison. Just talk about what he's done for you.
Yeah, I think he's got to be mentioned in that 3A Player of the Year right now. Every time he touches the ball, I say it all the time. I yell it to him, and he's got to be mentioned in it. And I think if we finish business and make a run deep in the playoffs, I think he'll have an opportunity for that. But he means a lot to our team. He's the biggest guy out there, so we got to put the ball in his hands and see if people can tackle him. That was kind of the game plan tonight, and catch it and run forward. And I've seen a lot of Piedmont, so he reminds me of Jack Hayes at Piedmont a little bit.
Well, Coach, just a great performance by your guys. We want to congratulate you. Next week, got another tough one. I think you guys got to go on the road, I think.
Yeah, we're going to Oakman, and it's never tough at Oakman. I've been up there one time back in 2016, and it wasn't an easy place to play. And, those guys get after it, and they're always big, and so it should be a good one.
Well, Coach, we want to, again, congratulate you on the win. I don't know going in if anybody saw this coming on either side, but this is a pretty big win for you. A lot of people around the state are going to take notice of the way your team played tonight. You're not going to sneak up in on anybody if you would have anyway.
Yeah, I agree. Going into it, we thought we could win it, but I didn't think it'd be 35-0. I would have taken 35-34, but our kids work hard. I've said it from the day one since I got here. I've never seen kids work this hard, and they deserve it. And so I'm just so proud of them and so proud of the Green Wave community up here. I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Congratulations, Coach. We're going to look forward to watching you down the stretch. I can guarantee you that, and into the postseason.
Thank you. We appreciate you guys coming and doing this. It's awesome for us.
All right, congratulations. Gordo, big winners tonight, and their coach joining us here at halftime, Coach Gus Smith, getting the Gatorade bath here. We were stalling so they could get set up and get in place, right, Coach?
Hey, we had to do our part.
Yeah.
Well, that'll do it for this week's edition of AHSAA TV Weekly. Don't forget to catch this week's Game of the Week tomorrow night. We'll be in Class 7A Region 8 with Sparkman at Huntsville, and send us those highlights. As always, remember to practice good sportsmanship at all Alabama high school athletic events. We'll see you next week.
Retirement planning, investment planning, education planning, ad valorem, blah, 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 blah. Financial planners love to show their version of a perfect retirement, but what about your perfect retirement? At AmFirst Financial, we'll get to know you first, so we can make a plan for the person you'll be years from now, and future you will be glad we planned ahead. So call AmFirst Financial today. You'll thank you later.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Alabama, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.